Thanks very much for attending this session. And I'm Kannass. Together with my colleague Ada and Joseph, we will be presenting this talk. So our topic is about using a data analytic approach to explore the effectiveness of online teaching and learning at our university. So we are coming from the Hong Kong Polytechnic Universities. Okay, a little bit of the background. I guess you may aware that the pandemic of coronavirus, COVID-19, has been affecting higher education sector worldwide. In fact, it has been affecting every one of us. As some of you may aware, near the I think same time last year, our PolyU campus was suspended because of social unrest. And then COVID struck us at the early of this year. And so I think it's very similar in Hong Kong and around the world that our teaching and learning has shifted from a face-to-face mode to a fully online mode. And then starting from this year academic year in September, the COVID situation in Hong Kong seems under control. And so some of our classes were, some of our small classes were go back to face-to-face, while large classes are still remain online. But we do have a mixed mode in this semester. However, for this presentation, we will be only looking into the semester 2 last academic year, because that's the time when everything was fully online. So we have a few aims of this study. I think mostly we really want to understand what's going on in the online teaching and learning behavior from our teachers and students. So we are using the data analytic approach, looking into the log in the system, and we will be only focusing on the semester 2 when our teaching instruction was fully online. And more importantly, we want to identify areas for improvement and also some good practices for online teaching and student learning. So how do we know what students are doing online? So currently, our university is providing a number of platforms for teachers and students. And our learning management system, LMS, is Blackboard. But at the same time, we're also providing other platforms like Zoom, MS Teams, Blackboard Collabora Ultra, and also Panopto. So we do provide a number of systems for teachers to choose to fit their needs. So the method, while everything was moved online, our teaching and learning activities were conducted through the number of systems, as I have just mentioned. Content activity logs for both teachers and students were retrieved in the analytics, and we extracted the data, analyzed it. And for this presentation, we are going to present it at a more overall level. But when we produced the reports at the very beginning of the semester, we did produce reports for at faculty levels, at departments level, and also at program levels. So we presented the figures, the statistics to reports to deans, head of departments, and also the teachers. And we do have a lot of statistics. For example, for teachers, we show them percentage of Blackboard course with announcement, number of videos uploaded, the duration of their synchronous sessions. For student data, we also look at percentage assessing their Blackboard courses, the view announcement, number of posts created, average time spent on different sessions, etc. Time frame. As I've just mentioned, we have extracted data for semester 2 in last academic year. This is the time when everything were online. So we have covered over 2,200 Blackboard courses with students logged in that semester. And we cover both undergraduate and postgraduate programs. And also we found out that we have involved approximately 1,500 subjects. So you will see that, we have over 2,200 Blackboard courses. What it means is some subjects have more than one Blackboard courses. That actually makes it quite difficult or more difficult for mapping and analysis. Limitations of learning analytic approach. We do aware that there's always limitations. And one big issue about learning analytics approach is the interpretation of data. I remember in the early stage when we released the reports to faculty and departments, we have loads and loads of inquiries and concern. The figures look much simpler than what it actually means. And we only capture the learning and teaching activities in the system where we extracted the data. So what I'm saying is we only extracted those on our system, on our platforms that the university is currently using. I remember we had teachers come to us, after they read the reports during the semester, they come to us and they say, hey, I did that, but how come it's not reflected in the reports? And then, so we spent lots of time to find out the answer. And later on, we find out that just because the teacher was delivering that component, not in the system that we are currently using in our institution, which makes it quite difficult. And so there's, limitations with mapping between systems as well. As I said, we have various systems, various platforms, and it's actually quite difficult, at the back end to map all those courses to the corresponding subjects. So if we cannot identify those courses, then the data cannot be utilized and won't be represented in the result. So be aware that there's always some limitations on learning analytics. So results. These are our results in a very broad overall level. So course logged in, Blackboard courses log in. So throughout the semester 2, you will see that the blue line is the percentage of active students. So on average, we have about 80%, 80+% of students in Blackboard course access the LMS each week. And the gray bar is the number of students not logged in. So on average, you will see across each week, we have about 7 to 8 students per course that not logged in. So when we produce the report and send it to the teachers, we actually provide them the names of the students so that they can follow up on those students who did not log in the course. Announcement made to students. So you will see that the gray bar is the number of announcements available. Starting in week 3, you see a relatively lower number, and it gradually increased to week 15. We have about average 12 announcements made to students in each Blackboard course, and we have 87% of Blackboard courses made at least one announcement in their LMS. And on average, you see the blue line is the number of student viewed announcements. So on average, we have 60–70% of students who views the announcement in Blackboard. And these figures exclude those students who read the announcement in emails, because there's another options that students can read the emails, read the announcement via email and not in the actual LMS, not in the Blackboard. Okay, learning materials. So at the end of week 15, all Blackboard courses had uploaded materials. And on average, we have around 85 content items per Blackboard course. And on average, about 80% of students click on the content materials. And with an average clicks is 14.8, so about 15 clicks per week. We have about 25% of Blackboard course had videos, and that includes all types of videos. And average, we have about 7.1 videos per course. YouTube link. So we found about a quarter of Blackboard course had YouTube links, and on average, we have about 10 links per Blackboard course. Rewind Panopto, which is a video platform provided by the university. So on average, we have about 18% of Blackboard course had at least one Pamnocto videos. On average, it's about 9 videos per Blackboard course. Average length is about 26 minutes. And across the semester, 26% of students view at least one videos, and average viewing time is 7.2 minutes. Our synchronous sessions. Our synchronous sessions. So the black line is the number of Blackboard courses with synchronous sessions. So you will see that on average, about 70% of Blackboard courses had synchronous sessions, and it kind of like decreases a little bit near the end of the semester. Blue line is number of student joint sessions. So on average, it's quite steady. It's about 70% plus of students who join the synchronous sessions across the week. And this is the breakdown by different platforms. The black bar is the number of Blackboard course for Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. The gray bar is the Microsoft Teams. The green bar is Zoom. So you will see that the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra was the main platform used in our institution for conducting synchronous sessions. Around 80%, you see the line here, 80% of students join at least one session each week across the semester. On average, we have about 1.2 to 1.6 synchronous sessions conducted each week per Blackboard course using the 3 platforms. And the average duration for these synchronous sessions is about 100 to 230 minutes. And students on average spend about 150 minutes to 120 minutes in the sessions. And we do have breakdowns by faculties and also undergraduate, postgraduate as well for percentage of students who join at least one synchronous sessions. So we kind of like have a lot of more detailed breakdowns for each faculties for their department as well, where we produce these kind of reports each week. So summary, so you will see that our average number of logs in to Blackboard course is quite steady for students across the semester. On average, our Blackboard course had an average of 85 content items. About a quarter had video upload. A majority of our subjects conducted synchronous sessions with the student in Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. So you can see that this short presentation shows you or provides us as an initial steps to understand the student behavior and teacher behavior in their online teaching and learning situations when our face-to-face mode of delivery shifted to a fully online mode. And what we have done already is we have started looking into other aspects in teaching and learning, such as we have already started, our team has already started looking into the assessment data. And I think more importantly, we really want to identify areas for improvement, and also from different projects in the institution. We have interviewed teachers and students, and we try to identify some good practices for online teaching and learning. And so I think that's the end of my presentation, and welcome for questions. And my colleagues are here to answer the questions as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chen, for sharing. I see that there are some few questions from the Q&A from the Zoom chat. From our audience, Wang Xiu, are there any issues encountered during your implementation?
Sorry, let me have a look.
From Wang Xiu.
Let me stop my sharing first. Oops.
Okay.
Okay.
He asked whether there are any issues encountered during your implementation of the project.
Oh, wait, there's always lots and lots of issues and challenges when we started this approach. In, I think it was the first time we actually looked in the back end. We work very closely with our IT departments as well, and our unit. And I think first thing is nobody had ever looked at the back end data at all. So that was the first time when we retrieved the data and no one know what it looks like. And so and it was kind of like a quite blur in terms of responsibility, who extracted the data and how we go to program, set the programs, and how we're going to come out with, what kind of statistics would be meaningful to everyone. And we spent, the whole team, a team of, a number of people across different units sit together and kind of like sort out the issues. And I think that's very difficult. And so that was, really one big challenge in the implementation. I think another big challenge is the interpretations. And we had, I wouldn't say complaint, but it was, close to complaint, that we had a lot of teachers, heads and deans calling us and say, hey, this is not, I don't think that statistic reflects what our departments are doing. So we ended up, have to come up with a very detailed guidelines with all the calculations, on the averages. How do we come up with the average? How do we come up with the formula? How do we calculate that? And we actually engage in a lot of talks and a lot of dialogue with different teachers at different level as well. So I think we learned a lesson that, when we come up with the statistics, you really have to, go, have a lot of dialogue with the people who views it and make sure they interpret in a more appropriate way.
Thank you for answering the question and the question from the floor. I think we still have about 2 minutes to answer one more question. There is one from Dr. Duchin, and he asked whether so
Yeah.
why do so few students watch online videos, and is there any alternative platform? Do they view videos on YouTube?
Yes, well, I guess we find out there are some limitation on that, and I think they might watch the video in YouTube, but we could not track the data, because that's kind of like a link that provided by the teacher, and once when the teacher clicks it, it brings up to the outside our PolyU platform that we cannot trace. And so that's one limitation. We can only find out, the link, and sometimes there's a lot of strange things that I think the team has identified, and we were not quite sure whether it's a YouTube link or whether it's a video link, and so that I think that's that may not be included in there. So this is something we cannot track.
Thank you so much for answering.